Hello and welcome to the Fireside Chat series of videos from Three Men in a Shed Wargaming. In these videos, we'll be looking at an existing game that we play, or maybe a game that we're looking to play in the future. Every episode will feature a host and a guest, with the host at least having a little bit of prior knowledge on the game in question. Every episode will open with a classic game of two truths and a lie, where the host will present 3 facts about the game in question, and it's up to the guest and you at home to try and work out which one of those isn't true. We'll then discuss the game in a little bit more detail to really try and answer those immediate questions that everyone likes to have answered. How many miniatures do I need? Where do I buy the miniatures? How do I base the miniatures? Are there factions to choose from? We'll then close every episode by awarding the game system between 1 and 5 stars. And this is going to be based purely on whether we feel the game delivers on its promises. So for example, if we were playing a fantasy game, do we feel that we've been transported to some magical realm full of marvellous creatures and adventure at every turn? Or do we feel that we were a grand commander moving our regiments around the board in some kind of campaign strategy? So pull up a chair, pour yourself your favourite drink and come and join us by the fireside as we discuss the games that we like to play or are looking to play in the future. And remember, drop us a comment below if there's a game that you play and we haven't featured it yet. But for now, sit back and enjoy the Fireside Chat series of videos. Welcome to the Fireside Chat, where today we're going to be talking about Arcworlde by Warp Miniatures. It's a great little fantasy game, and joining me by the fireside today is Chris.
Great to be here. So looking forward to learning a bit more about Arcworlde.
So, as is tradition on these fireside chats, I'm going to play a quick game of Two Truths and a Lie, the classic icebreaker.
Yeah.
So I'm going to tell you 3 facts about Arcworlde.
Right.
Now, 2 of them are going to be true, 1 of them is going to be a lie, and it's up to you to tell the truth from the lie. Are you ready?
I think so.
Alright, let's play. In Arcworlde, you can make up your own rules.
Okay.
Right. When you're moving a character model around the board, you can move that model a bonus 15 inches or up to 15 inches.
Wow. Right, okay. I thought I knew which one was a lie, but I'm not too sure yet.
When you roll the dice, if you ever have a result that is equal to the number of dice that you roll. So if you roll 3 dice and each of those dice return a result of a 3, or if you get 5 5s on 5 dice, you automatically summon a forest fire dragon onto the board under the command of your opponent.
Okay. Can I say they're all lies? Because that all sounds a bit like you've just made that up on the spot. Wow. I mean, the making up your own rules one, I thought that was the one. It had to be, but everything else, I mean, an extra 15-inch movement, that's a bit crazy as well. The Fire Dragon one, I have no idea what that's all about.
Now you got to guess one of them.
Yeah. I'm going to go, do you know what? I'm going to go for number 2. That sounds a bit like the most plausible one. So number 2 is the lie.
You're saying number 2 is the lie?
Yeah.
Well, it's not.
Oh, right.
Number 2, you can actually move up to 15 additional inches. It's all on a dice roll.
Yeah.
And there's some risk factors. You might fall over, but that's in a mechanic called legging it. And we'll come to that in a little while.
Right.
The other truth is that you can make up your own rules.
All right, okay.
Okay,
You're going to have to tell me a bit more about that.
So the game has a mechanic in it called a narrative feat,
Right.
where if there's something you want to do in the game that you can't do or is not covered under the rules, as players we can discuss that and we can come up with a a solution to it, and we can say, well, how hard's that going to be?
Yeah.
So for a tiny little halfling to try and rip up a tree and throw it at someone, it's probably going to be quite hard.
Oh, right.
Almost
okay.
epic or legendary for him
yeah.
to do that. But a forest troll,
Yeah.
he's easily going to do that. So it'd be easy for a forest troll to do it, hard for a halfling to do it. So we discuss it between us.
Yeah.
Because the game is all about story. It's all about the narrative.
Right.
So
Got you.
it's all about making the best story for both of us as players.
I see. So it's starting to sound a bit like it's almost a halfway house between a war game and a role-playing game in that kind of way.
Yeah, it is.
So making up your own rules. Tell me a bit more about that.
Yeah, I mean it's unusual in a war game that you get to make up your own rules.
Some people do it all the time, though.
Oh well, so, this would be nice for those sort of players. Now in Arcworlde, it's a cooperative game, so we're playing together. Like you said, it's very RPG based. So we are telling a story. It's not about who wins, who loses. If we can both come away from the game, with a good story behind us and a good evening of fun, entertainment, all the better.
Right.
So the narrative feat system works like you do. We discuss on how hard is a thing going to be for that model to actually do it.
Right. Okay.
Okay. Is there going to be any damage output from that?
Yeah.
Because it could just be something I want to leap out the way before you hit me. So if there's going to be any damage associated to it, work that out. And you can't always agree, but sometimes when you can't agree, you have to come up with a sort of foreshadowing. So you have to say, well, okay, I don't quite agree with the way that you reckon it will only be an easy feat rather than a medium feat. But if you fail, your foot's going to fall off. Right, and then you're at -2 move for the rest of the game. You really can be that silly in the game, and it is a game that doesn't take itself particularly seriously.
Yep, I'm getting that.
Right.
Yeah.
To give you an example of a narrative feat, I was playing a game about a week ago at Spalding Wargames Club. And this was against a new player just being introduced to the game, and I was explaining the narrative feat system, and we had a situation where one of my little flame characters was going to go over and kill his powder monkey.
Oh, right. Okay.
So he's got this little powder monkey that can run around with the Imperials, and he can give people more arcanite, more powdered arcanite, which is a bit like gunpowder, but in Arcworlde it's arcanite. And obviously highly explosive. So we knew he was going to die. He was always going to die. But we discussed it between us, and he said, well, for a medium feat, I reckon I could throw the flaming barrel at your commander as the monkey dies.
All right.
So we agreed. Yeah, I thought it was going to be a bit harder than that. It was a little tiny monkey throwing a big heavy barrel whilst on fire.
Right.
So I said, okay, but if you fail, you're going to drop it at his feet, and the last thing we're going to see, there's going to be fur and fire everywhere, and now I need to model a big scorch mark in the board.
Right.
Yeah. He rolled a double one. So 2 failures, and which, interestingly, coming on to that, when you're rolling the dice in Arcworlde, a 4 or more, success. 1, 2, 3, failure.
Easy enough.
If you roll a 6, it's 2 successes.
All right, so one word there, powder monkey. Where on earth do I buy a miniature powder monkey from?
The creators of the game, Warp Miniatures, Alex Huntley is a fantastic sculptor.
All right.
So he does both physical sculpting and digital sculpting.
All right.
So you can go to their website, which is all the W's, warpminiatures.com,
right,
where there are 9 factions currently to choose from.
All right. Okay.
Some of the factions you can interchange. So sort of the Fey realm, for example. All of the factions within that can you can cherry pick. There's also the bestiary. And the bestiary, you can actually hire in a dragon or a troll into your warband.
Who doesn't want a dragon? Who doesn't want a troll?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But you can also play as the bestiary as well.
Yeah.
Or you can set up a specific scenario. Yeah. And he's done some amazing sort of big, large-scale models, huge spiders, your classic fantasy miniatures.
All right, so say for example I went online and looked at these miniatures. It sounds like I could drop an awful lot of money on them. What do I need to start? What's the best way to start in terms of what I need to buy?
Well, obviously, go and have a look.
Yeah.
There is the rule of cool. So, look and see what you like the look of. I would say that all the factions are pretty evenly balanced.
Right.
The only one that sort of throws a slight spanner in the works is the bestiary. But there is also on the website a army builder, a fantastic free army builder, which has now got printer-friendly printable data sheets.
Excellent.
That Alex has done individual artwork for. So go on that, you can have a look at the rules on that. Speaking of the rules, you can buy the physical rules.
Yeah.
Alex also has a free PDF of the rules.
Oh, right.
And all of the faction rules are also available as a free download.
Excellent. Free is my favourite price.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, how many models do I need then for a good sized force?
So your starter army, depending on the faction you go for, obviously if you went for something like halflings, you're probably going to be looking at a starter set with only 8 to 10 miniatures in there.
Okay.
If you went for more of an elite thing like the Dark Lords, you're probably looking at 4 to 6 miniatures.
Oh right, okay.
We'll get you going and we'll actually give you some pretty good games.
Right. That's great because I don't need 100 more miniatures on my painting desk, so that's good to know.
Oh, nobody needs that.
No. Okay, well let's do the Fireside Chat 1 to 5 star rating.
Right.
What would you give Arcworlde?
I would say 4.5.
Oh, right.
It screams old school fantasy to me. It's very sort of D&D-ish, and there are those RPG elements that come through. Yeah. But after every single game, it doesn't matter whether I've won or lost a game, I always have this feeling that my warband, or what's left of my warband, is going to sort of find the nearest tavern, sink a few jugs of ale, and talk about stories where they've blown their hands off, or killed this gigantic spider that was probably the size of a half a gold piece.
Right. Okay, well that all sounds like madness, but the good kind of madness. So yeah, I'll perhaps have a bit of a nosy in on one of your games sometime, and who knows, maybe it's another game that
will get your money.
Yeah.
Well, we'll set up a game. You can sit and watch that game. I might play a game against Martin, you never know. Right, so Chris, that's Arcworlde. It is mad. We'll set up a game. We'll get a game going. You can watch in on it, but for now, it's thanks for watching, and thanks to everyone for joining us by the fireside. But more importantly, thanks for you joining me by the fireside.
Pleasure. Cheers.
Cheers.